Our speaker is Jason Tagle. He does an outstanding job of running our fitness center. And if you were here for the last Lunch and Learn, you heard what a great job he did, not only with the talk, but also with the Q&A. He is truly a fitness and health professional. We're really lucky to have him here at HP. Please welcome Jason.
Welcome, everyone. Thank you. Welcome, everyone. Since the dawn of time, men and women around the world have tried to stop the clock. From creams to injections to plastic surgery, anti-aging treatments are centuries in the making. Most therapies have focused on the cosmetic effects of anti-aging without really addressing the root cause. Until now. What you're about to see is how to anti-age from the inside out. So what's the secret? Is it vampire therapy, where you infuse yourself with young people's blood? Or is it restorative waters that heal injuries and give you immortality? I can't tell you where that is. What I can tell you is the most important thing you can do to slow the aging process is minimize the buildup of advanced glycation end products, AGEs. AGEs are the cause of aging no one ever talks about because very few people understand it. If you understand it, you can slow down the signs of aging. Now, I know what you're thinking. What is an advanced glycation end product? Here's celebrity chef Wolfgang Puck to help me explain. The most popular dessert in his restaurants is crème brûlée. That crispy golden top layer we all love is the result of sugars reacting with proteins. Let me explain. This is a protein. When you have an excess sugar molecule that binds to a protein, that's called glycation. Glycation alters the structure of that protein, forming what's known as an advanced glycation end product. Advanced glycation end products cause proteins to cross-link because sugar is sticky. It's like when you chew on caramel and it sticks to your teeth. Cross-link proteins change the structure and function of proteins in your body. They become stiff and rigid, which is how you get the hard shell of a crème brûlée. So what does this have to do with aging? AGEs affect all the proteins of your body. Your skin. Two proteins called collagen and elastin keep your skin supple and firm. When AGEs build up in your skin, it forms wrinkles. AGEs that build up in your connective tissues stiffens and brittles your joints. So you get joint pain and decreased range of motion. It doesn't stop there. The walls of your arteries are collagen and elastin. If this tube becomes less flexible as a result of AGEs, your heart has to work harder to pump blood out. Your arteries carry blood from your heart to your muscles and organs. So AGEs can cause high blood pressure and set the stage for cardiovascular disease. So if sugar causes glycation, and glycation leads to aging, is sugar the devil? Do sprinkles cause wrinkles? It's not that simple because sugar is also a good fuel. We just want it in the right place at the right time. Just like gasoline is good fuel for your car. We just want it in the right place at the right time. So your first anti-aging strategy is not to eliminate sugar, but to control your blood sugar. I have something to show you. A 165-pound individual has about 5 liters of blood, cherry pomegranate blood. A normal fasting blood sugar level is only 5 grams, which is just a teaspoon of sugar for all this blood. Now, what happens if I drink this bottle of Coke, which I would never do, that has 40 grams of sugar? Let's look at how sugars are metabolized, because this would tie back to anti-aging. Sugars and starches fit into a larger group called carbohydrates. When you eat a bagel or a piece of fruit, drink a soda, those carbohydrates get converted to glucose in your bloodstream, which is another way of saying blood sugar. Your pancreas secretes a hormone called insulin to clear the glucose from your bloodstream to fuel your cells, such as your brain. Your brain loves glucose. Once your fuel needs are met, any extra glucose is stored in 2 places. Your liver, which can store around 100 grams of glucose. Glucose is stored as branches called glycogen. Liver glycogen is your blood glucose buffer between meals. When your blood sugar dips, liver glycogen releases glucose into the bloodstream to keep it steady. Most glucose is stored in your skeletal muscles, which can store up to 400 grams of glucose, depending on your muscle mass. Muscle glycogen is fuel for muscular activity. These 2 things, liver and muscle glycogen, is how your body is able to fuel itself even if you don't have any fresh incoming glucose. Your pancreas secretes the opposite hormone to insulin called glucagon to break down glycogen and release glucose into the bloodstream for energy. I know that's a lot of G words. What you need to know is for a non-diabetic, blood sugar is very tightly regulated because of these 2 counter-regulatory hormones, insulin and glucagon. In fact, even when your glycogen tanks are empty, your body breaks down fat to produce ketones, which function like glucose, but at a slower rate. Here's how this all ties back to aging. Let's say your glycogen tanks are filled to the brim, and you continue to ingest glucose on top of this, which is analogous to pouring liquid into a glass that's already full. The liquid would spill over onto places you don't want it. Now you have excess sugar in your blood. These renegade sugar molecules hook up with fats and proteins. You get glycation, advanced glycation end products, aging. You won't notice this when you're young, but excess sugar is slowly aging you over time. In order to avoid chronically high blood sugar, I recommend alternating between low-density carbohydrates and high-density carbohydrates based on your activity. Here's what I mean. When your activity level is light, you're walking around, doing some work around the office, stick to low-density carbohydrates, which are your non-starchy vegetables and fruits. I'll give you a list of all these foods. Some examples of these meals might be a veggie omelet, fruit with yogurt, steak salad, wild-caught fish with a side of greens. After you do vigorous physical activity, which I'll explain in a minute, that's when you eat your high-density carbohydrates, which are your starchy vegetables and grains, like potatoes, sweet potatoes, yams, quinoa, wild rice. What you're doing is depleting some of your glycogen stores through exercise, so when you consume glucose, it's used to refill glycogen and less likely to become excess. Now, what exactly counts as vigorous intensity physical activity? It's all relative to your level of conditioning, but in general, one of three things happen when you exercise vigorously. Number one, you'll breathe heavier than normal as your muscles demand more oxygen. Your body temperature will rise from the increase in your metabolic rate. Or you'll experience a slight fatiguing sensation in your muscles. If one of these three things are happening, you can do any exercise you want, you're exercising vigorously. Now, this doesn't mean that lower intensity physical activities are a waste of time. In fact, anything that increases your circulation keeps you young, because blood flow sends oxygen and nutrients to your tissues, which stimulates collagen production. Blood flow for a healthy glow. What else can we do to reduce AGEs? Something else to show you. Heat accelerates the formation of AGEs. What I have here is an untoasted piece of bread. Notice how it's malleable, it's flexible. And a toasted piece of bread, I want you to notice two things. It's stiff and unyielding. It cracks easily. And also, notice the browning. This can show up as discoloration of the skin, also known as age spots, or dark circles under the eyes. What I did was use heat to accelerate glycation. Now, that doesn't happen as fast in the human body, but it can happen over the course of a lifespan, which is also why cigarette smoke directly ages you. Smoking also has the opposite effect of exercise in the sense that it decreases your circulation instead of promoting healthy circulation. Now, statistically speaking, most of you are non-smokers. But as Californians, we love to spend time in the sun. Although direct sunshine is essential to health, you don't need a lot of it. A sunburn accelerates AGEs. Sunscreen simply slows down the rate of sunburn. The label on the bottle, sun protection factor, or SPF, doesn't represent the strength of protection so much as the length of protection. Here's what I mean. Let's say it would take you 10 minutes to get burned without protection. SPF 30 would extend that time by a factor of 30. So instead of getting burned in 10 minutes, it would take you 300 minutes to get burned. That's 5 hours. That's pretty significant compared to 10 minutes. Now, the most important thing with sunscreen is to make sure you have enough of it on, which is why dermatologists recommend reapplying every 2 hours if you're going to be out that long. The real reason I wanted to bring up heat is because a lot of health advocates tell you what to eat, what not to eat. Very few people talk about how food is prepared. High heat, dry cooking stimulates the formation of AGEs. When people say they're having a barbecue, what they're really doing is grilling. Those grill marks you get on a hamburger, that's glycation. Caramelized onions, or caramelized, however you like to say it, glycation. When someone's baking cookies and you get that intense aroma, that's glycation, usually the point where the cookies start to brown and become a little crispy on the outside. Commercially processed carbs and sugars like breakfast cereals, crackers, chips, candy are usually exposed to high heat during processing, and these are high in AGEs. Now, I know this is all very depressing. A lot of my favorite foods are high in AGEs, but ageless does not have to mean tasteless. We just want to modify the way that we prepare foods. How? Low and slow is the way to go. Any true barbecue aficionado knows that the key to good barbecue is cooking at low temperatures for long periods of time, where the meat just falls right off the bone. If you don't have all the time in the world, even medium heat lessens AGE formation compared to high heat. Moisture also lessens AGE formation, which is why marinades are a good idea. And it's why boiled carbohydrates, like rice, pasta, have less AGEs compared to toasty carbs, like a pizza or a panini. They're still high-density carbohydrates, so you want to save them for after your workout. Bust out the crock pot and make stew. Steamed vegetables, like the steamed green beans you have with lunch. Anything that's practical to eat raw has 0 AGEs, like fruits, greens, whole food fats like avocado, olives, all have 0 AGEs. In summary, your top 3 anti-aging strategies are: move your feet before you eat, which means exercise to control your blood sugar. Have fun in the sun, but not a ton. Use sunscreen and reapply it every couple of hours. And when it comes to cooking, low and slow is the way to go. A diet high in AGEs, combined with chronically high blood sugar and a sedentary lifestyle, is called the standard American diet. And you can survive on the standard American diet, but do you want to survive or do you want to thrive? I challenge you to thrive because you're never too old to be young. Thank you.